Hi, I'm Jodi. Welcome to my Stamp with Jodi YouTube channel. You have come across the Great American Stampin' Show. We are on episode 5 of season 3. And for this entire season, we are using Stampin' Up templates that are found on page 22 of the Stampin' Up annual catalog. So we're each creating something from one template. And just to show you how much of a variety you will get, that you can, different directions you can go all based on one template. Now today, what I'm going to share with you, I have used a lot of products out of our brand new upcoming mini catalog. So I can't show you the inside yet, but I can show you the products. And I think there's about 5 that I'm going to use on this card. So I'm super excited to share it with you. Thank you for joining us. Watch my video, watch all 3 of the other videos. We have 4 total, and then you get to vote and see who the winner is for episode 5. You give a thumbs up on YouTube, and whoever has the most votes by Sunday evening is declared the winner. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this episode of the Great American Stampin' Show. All right, so our challenge this week is template number 5, and I'll just pull that in so you can see what number 5 looks like here. So we've got like a banner angled piece, a larger piece, and then a small offset layer that will most likely be a greeting or focal point. So that's what we're striving to accomplish today. Again, this is a starting point. This is where I just kind of set off with my creative inspiration. So we'll all have our own little twist on template number 5. First, I need to show you some sneak peeks. I have, I think, 5 of them from our upcoming mini catalog, and I'm super excited to create a card this week that uses so many of these sneak peek products. So I might not know the names of these things yet, and unfortunately I can't show you the insides of the mini catalog yet, but I can show you product. And this is a Regal something something designer paper, and you can see it is just gorgeous, rich earth tone colors. When you flip it over, you have more of those gorgeous colors, and I'm missing one. I must have used it all up already, and I don't even remember which one it was. But you get the idea of what you can expect with this designer paper from the mini catalog. So I am going to use some of this paper, and I'm going to use some new Regal gold foil embellishments. They're little self-adhesive dots. I'm going to use some new ribbon. You can see the gold edging with the Blackberry Bliss color. I'm going to use a new stamp set and a new embossing folder. Let me show you the embossing folder first. This is the new embossing folder. Again, I don't remember the name yet, but like it's so big I can barely show it to you on camera. These are what most of our embossing folders are. So this one's like a half. Then we have this one that's more like the size of a card front. This one is 6x6. Look at how big this new embossing folder is. It's so big. It's like 6 by probably 8 inches. So I didn't pay attention to the details when I ordered, and all of a sudden I got this giant embossing folder when I was able to do the demonstrator pre-order. So we've got new designer paper, new embossing folder, new embellishments, new ribbon, and the best part, this new stamp set. This is a stamp set rather, that I am going to use for the card that I'm creating. It's called Shepherd's Care. You can see it's cling mount stamp set. It's got 9 images. When you first look at this, tell me what you think. Do you just think Christmas? I mean, that would be very logical, right? You've got the little Bethlehem scene here. You've got shepherd and lamb, stars, some Christmas greetings. So I looked at it and I'm like, okay, it's a Christmas card. I can envision making a Christmas card like this. Super simple. This is pretty peacock, by the way, with some basic beige and vanilla. So this is pretty logical, right? You look at this, you think, yeah, this is the type of card I would make with it. Well, today, for our Great American Stampin' Show template number 5 challenge, I am going to use this stamp set, these other sneak peek products that I shared with you, and I'm actually going to make a sympathy card. Huh. Interesting. interesting. When I looked at this, it says, praying that you will feel the Good Shepherd's care in this season and throughout the coming year. He heals the brokenhearted and binds up their wounds. When I saw those, the first thing I thought of was actually a sympathy card. So that's what I'm going to do. So a little twist and turn of events. But that is what I am going to do for you today. So let me scoot this up out of the way. And you still need to be able to grab some things. And I think we can go ahead and get started. So the primary colors that I am using are Petal Pink and Blackberry Bliss. So my card base, which is 8.5 by 5.5, is Petal Pink. And I'm just lining up the corners, getting my good crisp fold. And I'm going to start with the background image. You may have even missed that shown right over here. So this is just a really simple background image. And I'm going to pull in Petal Pink ink, and so we'll have a tone-on-tone background. So I'm just going to lightly stamp and just kind of twist as I go, just to fill in some of that what's called white space around the edge. And that should be good. I don't need to go in too far because most of what I'm doing will get covered up. I'm going to add a little bit there and maybe just some right up there. I think that'll show a little more. Okay, so just tone on tone, the little background dots, Petal Pink ink, and Petal Pink cardstock. All right, my next thing that I want to do is take this piece of cardstock. This is, I'm trying to remember, 5 1/4, I think. And let me flip, I'm just going to flip my designer paper, or scrap paper. On one side, it's metric. The other side, oh, with the big blue blob, maybe that's why I put it on the other side. But this will let me use the ruler and measure, and that's what I want to do. This is 2 3/4 by 5 1/4. Now, if I take 2 3/4 and I kind of want to eyeball, you can measure if you need to, but I want to eyeball the center, which I think is pretty good right about there. And I'm going to cut about 1/2 inch. It does not have to be exact, but you can measure if you need it to be exact. So I just cut a little slit right there. And now I'm going to go from this corner to that point. And I'm going to go from this corner. Why is this one so much more awkward for me to cut? To that point. Just to notch out the end like that. So I want to do the same thing on the other side. So I'm going to eyeball the center, make a slit that's about 1/2 inch, corner to center, and corner to, oh my gosh, it's so silly. Like the other way is just so natural and easy and quick to do, and this way is just not as natural for me to cut that way as opposed to that way. Anyhow, we now have our little banner piece. So if you recall, I am going to pull this back in really quickly, flip to page 22 again really quickly. So this is what I'm doing, this background banner piece here, okay? So I've got that I can set right here. And then those other pieces, if you remember, here, and then my little greeting will go over here. So this is like a pretty close interpretation of that template just right here. But I want to add some things to make it even more special. So what I'm going to do is take this banner piece and use my brand new, enormous, gigantic embossing folder and go ahead and run that through and get some texture on that piece of Petal Pink cardstock. So I'm cranking it through my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. And then when I open this huge thing, I now have texture on there. So scoop this. I will add my adhesive to the back. When I emboss, I use a lot of adhesive because there's a little less surface area connecting the adhesive in the cardstock, and I just want to make sure it's got enough. So I get a little generous on my adhesive when I emboss. So I will set this piece on, just, it's not straight up, just a little bit cockeyed. I want to keep that point and this point on the card base though. So that will kind of be my guide. Then I have a piece of designer paper. This is 3.5 by 3 inches. Look at that. Isn't it just gorgeous? I love this paper. This is what's on the back. I just think this is so stunning, and I love bringing Petal Pink and Blackberry Bliss together. I'm not sure if I would have come up with that color combination all on my own. So I'm going to set this off center a little bit. I want it to be just a little bit closer on this side, over on the right, than I do on the left. And the next thing I'll do is take this gorgeous Blackberry Bliss ribbon. You can see, hopefully, yeah, you can see the texture on there, and then that gold edging. It's really, really pretty. So I'm going to just kind of set it on here and eyeball how much I want. And we'll just cut that there. And then what I want to do, let's see, I'm going to take this. So this wasn't cut straight. So I'm just going to, from the last time I used it, I'm going to just show you this. I'm going to fold this in half. And I don't need to do the whole thing, but just this end. I'm just going to fold it in half. And then to get a little notch, I'm just going to cut up at an angle. And then when I open it, it's got that little banner look like this does here. So when I set this on here, what I want to do is go ahead and put my adhesive down on the designer paper. And then I'm going to set my ribbon right into it. So instead of trying to get adhesive to stick on the ribbon, which I think would just be difficult, I put the adhesive down and then set my ribbon into it. Okay, now we've got this small piece of Very Vanilla. This is 2 inches by 1.5. And I want to use the greeting on here, praying that you will feel the Good Shepherd's care in this season and throughout the year. However, I felt like it was a little less Christmassy if I omitted the part that says, and throughout the coming year. Because if I wanted to send this as a sympathy card, praying that you'll feel the Good Shepherd's care in this season, it's a season of mourning, a season of grief. And so I think it's applicable if we just get rid of the and throughout the coming year. So last week, I showed you a couple masking techniques. This week, I'm going to do something too. This time though, I'm going to show you how to omit part of the stamp with little Post-it notes. So the part that says, and throughout the coming year, I'm going to cover that up, press the sticky part of the Post-it down into that. And then I'll go ahead and take my Blackberry Bliss ink, and I'm going to tap the ink. Ooh, I got a lot up there. I'll have to be careful when I stamp. I'm just tapping the ink here. It's a mess on that Post-it note, but that's completely okay because I'll peel this off. This can get set aside up here to go right in the trash. And now you can see I don't have any ink on that bottom part that I wanted to omit. So now I just need to try to stamp without getting all that extra ink on my project. So let's see. Did I do this wide enough? Ooh, I did not. Am I using the wrong one? Oh, I did not cut a big enough piece. What was I thinking? I'm going to have to improvise and use this and just trim it down a little bit. Okay, so I'll go off to the side a little bit here because I know I'm going to trim it. Let's see. Oh, good. All right, so by just omitting that extra little part and throughout the coming year, this becomes a great sympathy card. So I will trim up the side here. I do not know what I was doing with those other measurements. So what you would actually want is a piece that is more like 2.5 by 1 3/4. So sorry about that. So this now is our focal point for the front, and I'm going to pop it up with some Stampin' Dimensionals. Just put a few on the back here, one in the middle. I probably don't need that many, but it's all good. And then we will add this If you ever have, this just made me think, if you ever have the backing of a dimensional that doesn't come off like really super easily, take your thumbnail and just go like that. Excuse me. Did you see how it just popped up? I put my thumbnail down and that just popped up. Super easy to grab. Okay, back on track. This I want a little ribbon hanging off here. I want to kind of put it right in between there. So we've got kind of the ribbon and then this cardstock and then the designer paper. Just press that down a little bit. And then I'm going to come back with one of these gorgeous gold foiled gems. And I'll choose the Blackberry Bliss one and add that just down here at the bottom. And now you've got that gorgeous Sympathy card. Who would have thought that this could make a Sympathy card? It's definitely not the most obvious thing, but when you think about it, it really does make sense, doesn't it? One last thing I was going to show you until I kind of botched up that vanilla paper and needed to use it. I'll just show you in my sample the inside what I did. So I took the verse, the psalm over here, he heals the brokenhearted and binds up their wounds. I stamped that on another piece of Very Vanilla and then just added that tiny little strip of designer paper. So I guess if I go like this, you can see this is the front and then this is what the inside would be. So that is what I have for you today. I hope that you enjoyed both the sneak peek of like 5 new upcoming products, the masking technique to omit part of the stamp, and then just that little twist of taking something that appears to be Christmas and making it Sympathy or whatever else you might need. So I appreciate you watching. I would love to have your thumbs up vote here on YouTube. Be sure to click through and watch the other 3 videos. We've got a full hour of creative inspiration for you, and you're just going to love all of the different ideas that are shared. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great day.